discussing the traditional assessment. So here are the content outline for this lesson. First is the lesson objectives. Second is the motivational activity. Third is the discussion of the lesson. And lastly is the MCQ. So here are the lesson objectives for this lesson. First, at the end of the lesson, students will be able to identify and explain key features of traditional assessment. And students will be able to create a traditional assessment and develop a critical perspective on the use of traditional assessment. So what is traditional assessment? So we already discussed what traditional assessment is and its purpose. So traditional assessment is a formal, often standardized method used to monitor student progress, gather data for instructional decisions, and evaluate student achievement and program effectiveness. So, traditional assessment is ito yung typical na assessment na ginagamit natin both in entrance examination, college examination, and so on and so forth. So, sa traditional assessment, standardized meaning we all get the same questions, same problems, we all follow the same rules, instructions, nakabigay na yung instructions kung paano natin sasagutan yung test na yon, and nakalagay na din doon or alam na natin kung paano i-grade yung answers natin. So here are the comparison of the two assessment, the traditional and the authentic assessment. So in traditional, it is a one-shot test, meaning you take a test once and that's it. So meaning throughout the course, one time na kayo mag-assess or mag-take ng test. While sa authentic is throughout the course is throughout the course is nag-take kayo ng assessment. While sa traditional assessment it is indirect, meaning hindi mo na ipapakita or hindi mo magagamit in real life situations yung mga natutunan mo. While sa authentic is direct, meaning naipapakita mo or nai-apply mo yung mga tinuro sa'yo in real life situation. So, in traditional assessment naman, absence of feedback to learners, meaning hindi agad after the test is hindi agad sa'yo may babalik yung test paper mo or yung sinagutan mo, meaning hindi mo makikita kung saan ka ba or kung saan nga ba nagkamali or kung saan ka tumama. So, hindi mo wala kang feedback na makukuha from the teacher. So, while sa authentic, you learn what you did right or wrong. So, throughout the assessment na binigay sa'yo ng teacher is nagpo-provide siya ng feedback. So, that's why alam mo kung saan ka ba nagkakamali at kung saan ka ba tumatama. So, sa traditional naman it is a speed exams, meaning you have to answer quickly. May nakabigay na or may nakaset na time kung paano may nakaset na time kung hanggang saan mo yung tatapusin. While sa authentic is ang time exam, meaning as long as matapos or yung as long as tapos yung assessment na binigay sa inyo is yon. Sa traditional is decontextualized, meaning everyone does the same task. So meaning pag binigyan mo ng multiple choice yung isang estudyante mo is dapat lahat sila makakakuha din ng multiple choice exam. Also authentic is personalized, meaning gumagawa yung teachers ng assessment based sa skills or kung ano yung gagawin niyo. And sa non-reference score is yung score is yung test result mo is kino-compare sa mga kaklase mo or pwede din sa test na tinake ninyo din before to see kung may improvement pang nangyari. While sa authentic is criteria reference interpretation, meaning your score shows if you met the goal ng assessment na yun. So, So lastly, sa traditional assessment, standardized test, meaning as what I have mentioned earlier, kung it is a same test for everyone, everywhere, kung bibigyan mo siya ng identification, multiplication, same din sa iba. While sa authentic assessment is classroom-based test, meaning yung teacher yung gumagawa ng test na ibibigay sa inyo. So here are the principles of traditional assessment. First is the validity and reliability of the assessment that you are constructing. So to ensure that the information to get out, the assessment result is as honest as possible, it is crucial to make sure that assessment is both valid and reliable. So meaning, your assessment should actually measure that skill. So pag gagawa ka ng assessment, is dapat ma-measure talaga yung gusto mong ma-measure. Like for example is, yung sa lesson objectives, dapat sa assessment na binigay mo is ma-measure doon yung lesson objectives ng topic na yun. And reliability meaning, if nagbigay ka ngayon ng test and yung results ng mga estudyante mo is 50 above, and dapat bukas pag nagbigay ka ulit ng test same sa kahapon, is dapat same results yung lalabas. That is the reliability. So the second one is the referencing of the assessment. So to make the assessment meaningful, it is important to compare the candidates' abilities with a common measure. So sa reference is, to make the results meaningful, you need a comparison point. So another na-mention ko din ko sa comparison between the two assessment is kino-compare mo yung test results ng estudyante mo sa test i-take nilang test before, or yung sa mga test results din ng mga kaklase na, to see if may improvement bang nangyari. So number 3 is the construction quality of assessment items. For the assessment to become effective, the assessment items must be constructed to an appropriate quality. Judging the quality of items can be complicated, but as a starting point, consider the difficulty level of the items. Meaning, kapag gagawa ka ng assessment, is dapat hindi siya madali and hindi din siya masyadong mahirap. Meaning, kaya siyang i-take ng isang average student. And lastly is the grading of the assessments. The grades of the assessment results are very concise summaries of a student's ability. So dito sa grading of the assessment, the grades should be clear and understandable. So let's proceed sa mga commonly used na traditional assessment tools na ginagamit natin. So first is the true or false test. So itong true or false test, there are only two options sa pagpipilian ng isang bata, and there are 50% or more na pwede i-guess lang yung bata, and para medyo mahirapan sila sa pag-guess is dapat gawin itong modifying true or false, or ipa-explain sa bata kung bakit false or bakit mali yung sagot. And sa multiple choice test, it is fast and economical objectivity scores, meaning ito usually yung ginagamit ng mga schools or mga assessment organization, and according sa kanila is very easy to compare sa true or false test, and medyo hindi din sila dito like mag-guess compare sa true or false test. Pero sa multiple choice test, mini-measure din dito yung lower order thinking skills instead yung higher order thinking skills. Now, sa third is the essay. So dito sa essay, mini-measure dito yung higher order thinking skills. Although, mahirap siyang i-check kasi very subjective siya and time-consuming. So sa short answer test, the last one is, ito usually yung mga identification na very direct yung question na nag-require din ng direct answers. As what I've mentioned, yan yung mga identification or like mga fill in the blank kung saan very direct yung kailangan na answer na ibibigay mo. So that will be all.